Alright guys, just want to give you a quick update. Had a trade on gold this morning. It seems it's having more momentum than crude oil recently, so I've been taking a look more at gold, and we had a nice momentum push down this morning with some great volume. This move down here, I'm continuing to watch it. It's still in play right now. We might see another push down as we're talking here past this bottom. I would expect it maybe to get to the tens. I'm pretty much done trading it. Made about 500 on this short here, so at this point just keeping that money in the bank and not really looking for too much more. But just as an idea, I would think that they're going to break this low because this is some decent volume with some nice momentum. So my thinking is that it will get down there. It is possible that this will break down all the way around the 30s, the 40s, which would be an awesome move. And I might just fade that move. But right now you can see volumes picking up on the dome here. It's getting a little erratic. That's basically longs getting stopped out. They're a little frantic. And then maybe some late shorts jumping on, thinking, oh, this thing's about to break, which is the absolute worst thing that you want to do. But I put some Fibonacci's up here. It's not a spaghetti sauce. It's not the Fibonacci Alfredo. It's actually a tool used that was created by a mathematician that would never in his wildest dreams would ever expect it to make it to the markets hundreds of years later. But nonetheless, it works really well. When you have like a huge push like this, tends to get back to that 50 to 61.8 retracement mark and then move back down. And that's exactly what happened. It happened a lot quicker than I thought too. Like that says to me that the fact that it came up quickly says to me that it might have another leg down in it. I know it's probably going to pierce this area. Now the question is, will they just take it down and wash out everybody that got long in this area and just wash them out and then continue to trend back up? The reason I would go against that is we've had a ton of volume and momentum push down, which says to me it might continue down. So we'll keep watching that. It was a nice trade though. It happened pretty much right near the open of the indexes around 9:15, 15 minutes prior to that. So now it's starting to bounce back up. Volume's still a little erratic. You can tell by the jumpiness in the movements here, but there's no real big volume contracts coming in. You start to see in here, if you start to see like 30, 40, 50, that says to me that there might be a big break coming. So anyway, moving on to crude, not a whole lot going on in crude. Seems to be the tail of late. A little bit overnight action, not too much happening. This morning sold off a little bit to the 96.40s, which was pretty much, I think, the low of yesterday. I'm trying to pull up the profiles here. And that's right, we had that push down to 95s yesterday, but it was keeping in play from the last few days. Very tight range so far in crude. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I mean, I'm looking at interest all the way down here at around a 95, which is one heck of a move. Or the short play is up near the 97.80 to 98 area, and I'm finding that from this market profile, because if it pushes through this volume, it's going to find some resistance around that area. So actually closer to 98.10 if I want to play the market profile trade. And today we have natural gas coming out. It's an interesting play on the natural gas. It comes out every Thursday at 10:30. And if nothing else, I like to watch it because it tends to have a nice move. This was last week's move, and it moves. It tends to take either a shot down and a move back up, or a move up and a fade. So it's one of the very few trades that it's predictive. You can watch it happen every Thursday. Every once in a while, I'll try to take a play off of it using like a limit order to get in. But it's one of those heart pumping trades, and that's not the best trade by definition. When your heart starts pumping, you're not in the right trade sometimes. Either you're too big size-wise, or you're just in the wrong trade. So, I used to trade stocks, and I would trade. This newsletter came out around noon, and it would release a new stock symbol. And because of the number of subscriptions, it would move the stock about 2 points. So for a while there, I was doing quite well. I get in, I started out with 1,000 shares, make 2 points, that's a couple grand, and I was getting up there in a 5,000 share area. And then once you start getting into that 5,000 share plus range, it's tough to get fills, especially if it's an NYSE stock. Sometimes you don't get any fill, and then you're sitting there. And it was tough for me to put a limit order in because of the nature of the trades. So I was using market orders at the time, a little bit. I was a little bit green at that point. So I never really got burned per se on it, but it got to the point where one week I put in a 5,000 share order market, and it never filled. So I'm sitting there with this order, open market. They could fill at any price they want to. So at that point, after calling the trading desk and getting the order canceled, basically have to come in the next day and just make sure it wasn't filled, because when you put a market order on, there's no recourse on that. They can fill it at any price. So I figured that's not the kind of trade I want to be in. Yeah, so watching this, so just that's something that you guys can learn from that's not the type of trade you want to be in. But looking back at the gold, it still looks weak. It's ranging right now for the last 30 to 45 minutes within these two areas. And crude's the new S&P, man. It just died. I don't know what happened to crude, but S&P's, this is a 4-hour chart, so it's going to look a little strange, but S&P's is still in this tight band up here. It's still strong. And I guess that's about it for now. I might come back with something after natural gas, see what happens there. Maybe I'll take a shot on it since I'm up for the day. Just take a limit order on it, see what happens. But that's all for now. I will be back. Any questions, let me know.